Blog Talk Radio.
Another episode here, May 3rd, 2011. Good to be alive. The radiation hasn't set in yet, and Gonob Radio had a record-breaking day yesterday, far surpassing its previous record for visitors by the number of 8 or 9 to 1. So it's incredible, and today the carryover, some people are coming back. They kind of like what we're doing at gonob.com and coming back to check in on our alternative news and commentary. So that's really good. We're hoping to have a guest today. Let's see here. From the Holland. And so we'll just try to get our guest on here, have some interesting thoughts. All right, Joe, or Joss, time to call in. Let me send her a little reminder to him. Call in now. Excuse me. Well, other the main thing of today, of course, we're all waiting on the doctored photos. As they hurriedly, they had a long time to work on the birth certificate. Now, all right. Well, hold on. What's Josh up here? Is he having a meltdown here? I don't know. I'm not sure what's up here. No, go to the home page, Joss, and click on the Skype button. All right. Let me see here, and then all right, a little bit of technical difficulties here. Let's give him our number here at Gonob Radio is 1. That's the country code, followed by 818-514-1165. It's on the all this stuff is on the page. So you just go to Blog Talk Radio. You go to blogtalkradio.com/Gonob Radio, and you'll come to the homepage where you can listen, get into the chat room, which I'm going to set up right now, or see our numbers, call in, listen to archive shows. That's the whole thing. blogtalkradio.com/Gonob Radio, or you get the player at the website, gonob.com. Like about a 45-minute show scheduled for today. So we're just trying to get our scheduled guest, Joss, to be able to, okay. Joss has got the ticket now. He might be calling in. He has some interesting thoughts. And but meanwhile, I want to say thank you very much to our new affiliates coming in from all over the world. Thank you very much to the Bob Chapman channel for putting up our last show with Bob Chapman, yesterday's show, basically. Thank you very much. Also, thank you to Richard Rowell, my erstwhile supporter of gonob.com, who's been helping out so very much on Facebook, etc. And also thank you to the new friends I've added on Facebook. If you're a cute chick or something, it's okay to add you. If you're just some dude, don't bother. See here. What's up there? Okay, you're calling the number, huh? All right. Yeah, you're not coming through, Joss. You need to click, nope. Click the Skype on the page. Doesn't work. Well, I don't know, man. You need to call into the show. I'll do it again. Let me see. I'm going to go to the page, see if I see it. All righty. I have a little bit of technical difficulties here. Let's see here. Getting our guest on here. This is the call-in number. 1-818-514-1165. I'm going to see if I can call him. A minute. First, I'm going to check here. I close that in the chat. Hold on here. See, I don't know. Let's see here. blogtalkradio.com. See if this is all working or not here. Gonob radio. Okay. Get over to the page. And these idiots have changed everything around. Okay, where the hell is this thing? On the air. I guess maybe the Skype button's not here anymore. Oh, God damn it. These idiots, they've changed everything around a blog talk. Can't find anything anymore. All right. Let's see, what's up? Okay, anyways. All right, stop there. Hold on. Stop the typing. I'm going to try this now. They fucked everything up, and I apologize. Okay. Okay. Okay, we're going to get our...
Hello?
Yeah. All right, buddy.
Hey.
All right, we're going to try this. I don't know if this is working or not, if it's going to be heard. But, yeah, I don't see the Skype button on the Blog Talk, so it used to be there. Around those idiots. Anyways, I don't know if we're recording or not, but let's just go off the basis that we are. And I'll start up the chat session again. Maybe someone can come into the show here and tell me if they hear us. So, all right. We have our guest here now here on Gonob Radio, and why don't you introduce yourself and tell the listener and the affiliates a little bit more about yourself there, buddy.
Okay. I'm Jos Boersema. You hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm Jos Boersema, 37. I live in Holland. And for the last, 10 years, I've been busy making first a computer program for voting. So you could vote using your email and a code, and it was very secure. There was a publication about it in Germany on Linux Magazine. And I always been busy a little bit with the exploitation in the world and all the abuses and what was wrong with the system or society, don't know. So at some point I got a little bit sick, a bit tired from work in the canteen. And then stuff started a little bit falling together in my head, and I made a system that's based on trade, because if I trade, I make something, you make something, we can swap, we can inspect if it's okay, so we can protect ourselves from whatever. We can work together that way. But of course it doesn't work in the world because there's a lot of problems. So then my thinking went to power trading. If you have a lot of power over other people, you can sell yourself to them, and they get very low wages, of very little of what they make, and who has all the power has a lot. For instance, if you have a lot of land, and all the other people also need land. So, if you have a military to enforce yourself, then these other people will live in poverty. So that was the Middle Ages. And the conclusion is that if you need, this is really common knowledge, that we need a level playing field for a market to function. And we don't have that because most businesses are basically tyrannical. The boss can hire everyone he wants, fire everyone he wants, and so the labor is getting the short end of the stick. But then the problem is why does the trade system degenerate? And I thought that a good explanation is that if you have an economy that looks all right, many small businesses and a little bit everybody get what they're making, but there are a lot of maybe a number of tyrannical businesses, then these owners, they get a lot of money. So they can invest this for interest and doing good things and good working conditions that cost a lot of money. So the businesses that give their workers very little have a larger bottom line. The labor cost is much less. So if the investors invest in those businesses, they get a lot of money, while the so-called good investors who invest in fair trade companies and the like, they get less rich, therefore less powerful, and don't end up dominating slowly the market system like the others are, who invest in tyrannical businesses, where they themselves already got the money, so they know what they are talking about and what they are stimulating. Well, then seems a relatively straightforward problem of making a system that doesn't have these problems. So then we get to the 4 basic points of the system that are made, and maybe I should give the website for it.
Yep.
It's www.law4.org. So that's the 4 is a number, so it is law4.org. www.law4.org. And well, then I thought, okay, problem solved. Now someone can make a constitution, or because we don't have this system right now, where we distribute power to all people. Well, I haven't really explained what 4 points, so let me explain a little bit. How do we distribute the power, or could we distribute the power to all people? Well, first, that's land. If everyone has some land, and much in the West seems to be divorced from land at the moment, but much of the world is very important to own land, and through history it was always very important. And still, if you need a business, you want a little factory. If you're going to do this now, you need land, and that's very expensive. So if you have land, then you have a pretty nice position already for nothing. So that's one aspect of literally leveling the playing field, so everyone gets a level-sized part of the land. Then the second problem is the managerial problem. Who owns the business, and especially if it's a large business, that's a level of power. While if you have a business which runs itself in the markets by organizing labor effectively, so that they can hire, if they need a manager which comes down on them if they don't work, they can seek someone out in the market and negotiate a price for it. So I would think that generates a new labor market for competent business management.
Excuse me, may I ask a question?
Yes, sure.
We have just a little litmus test here for you. Do you have the right of return to Israel? Are you dual citizen Israeli?
No.
Okay, just checking.
No, I don't.
Let me ask you something along those lines. A follow-up question, if you don't mind. The Holland. Let me get this straight. For Netherlands and Holland, is that the same thing?
Yes. Well,
okay.
No, it's not exactly the same. Okay. You have North Holland and South Holland, and these are the 2 western provinces, and they traditionally and effectively dominate the rest of the Netherlands. So that's.
What is the Netherlands?
Well, I think that's the English word translation of Nederland. So that's the word for the country.
So it has 2.
Nederland. Yeah.
Okay. And what is Dutch?
Dutch is the same as English, but then for the Netherlands. I don't know why.
Oh, it's a language. Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to get these things straight.
The language. Yeah.
Right. And do you have in your government there, like, are most of the members of the parliament or whatever you might call it there, type of thing? Are they all dual citizen Israelis?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
But I've researched it.
You haven't researched it.
No.
Okay.
We had a lot of Jews here in the city, about 3,000, and I think, and they were herded by the Nazis, not far from here, a few hundred meters, and they were lost. So.
Oh well, life goes on. Yep. Yeah, I think. Hey, listen. Nobody lives forever. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And things happen, but we can't get what's done is done. Let's move forward. Okay, cool. So it sounds interesting. You have law4.org is your website.
Yeah. Yes.
Now, we're in a situation here, and which Gonob Radio is closely monitoring, and
monitor for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
but.
Yeah.
But from people, there's like this one show that's from the Central Texas Command Center or something. I don't know. It's a very large bodied man, pleasantly plump, if you will, who always talks about gloom and doom, but really never really wants to enter into a solution-based approach to any of these things he talks about on a daily basis and regurgitates, etc. So, but you, in your communications to me, came forward with, similar, recognizing the, the series of problems facing us, the oppression coming down the line here. But you had some solutions to deal with this. So could you please go into some of your solutions or outline of them, Darren?
Yes. If you go to my site, then on the front page and you scroll down, I just made today, you see one principle, 9 methods, 4 goals. And if you click on either of them, and then you see these methods, there are in this system 9 methods of increasing intensity. They are not necessarily meant to implement the system I made, which was worked out in a constitution. It's also on the site.
The female-friendly site. Okay.
One little thing I was thinking.
What the hell is that flag, man? I've never seen a flag like that. Is that from Poland or something?
No, that's a new flag. It's an article in the Constitution says if the nation is at war, or at peace, then you have to fly a flag with this design on it. Can make it a little bit different, of course. And if you are at war, then you have to turn the flag upside down. So the USA, if they were running this protocol, would fly a war flag all over the country. So nobody can deny that the nation is at war. And there is a voting protocol associated with that normal citizens can also fly this flag, and they can. It's also all in the Constitution that I propose, and they can say, well, we don't want war. We fly it in the peace configuration, and they can then attach some banners to it, saying, for instance, a black banner. Then they say they want peace. And the politicians are always lying. Because they will say the war is peace, and then you put a black banner on it, and you are saying with that flag, I want peace, and what we have now is not this peace. Okay? And there is another banner for it. It's green, and that says, green is we keep the current government, and blue is I want the government changed. So it's a very crude system of signaling what you want in the nation, and that is picked up in this constitutional system by the electoral committee, which is 10 persons elected in the whole country who set new election dates. So if they see all in the nation flags in the peace configuration, and no, there is no peace, the politicians are lying, this is peace, then they have the obligation to call for new elections. So that's what the flag is about.
Okay, I've went to your website. I put the link up on my Facebook, and later I'll put the link on the Gonob Radio official website, gonob.com. I've looked through the website there, and it seems to be quite detailed, where you really laid out a whole plan, an alternative plan to what we presently got going now, which is a failure in a lot of people's minds, certainly mine. And so that's really good. I mean, you're offering up an alternative, a solution, a complete plan, and as opposed to just wallowing in the ignorance and just deciding to just turn a blind eye, put the head in the sand, or in this case, head in the TV, watching the game, or some other stupid, way of ignoring the pending doom that we just continue to slippery slide into. You're like, hey, no, there's a way out of this to a better humanity on the earth, and so I really appreciate that. So please continue.
Thank you. On that the station is monitored. I mean, that's a little bit bothering, of course, because what the enemy can try is to kill everyone who knows the system and try to bury it. And for this reason, it's all worked out already, very detailed. And if they kill me and someone in Guatemala has this thing on a CD in old sock, then the CIA is probably not going to find it. Then if it can come out of the sock in 8 months, and we can still win. We can still do it. So that's at least one thing I wanted to say, to get the system distributed where they can't find it. And there are some archives you can click on here on the site, but you'll see that.
Do you have a download file button?
Yes, several. Yes. If you go on the front page and you scroll a little bit down, you see somewhere comment and discuss, and above that you see help with backups. If you click that, you get you get all in one. That's 52.9 megabytes, and that's static. So this file hasn't changed for a year or something, and it won't. And,
oh my God, dude! This is really in some huge amount of detail.
Yeah, it's very detailed.
Wait a minute, did you come up with all this stuff yourself, or did you copy and paste this from somebody else? Tell the truth.
I did it all myself.
My God, dude, this is a lot of work.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ, I'm looking at this. Okay, I want to put this file up on my website.
Great, man, great.
But I'm looking at it. It's not easy for me to do it, and because I'm an American raised in the public education system, you have to understand that we're semi-retarded. Please, when you get a chance after the show or something, send me the link to what the download is, and I will throw it up on the website, gonob.com, so they can find it easier. But this is some very interesting stuff here, man, and it looks like you put a lot of work into it. So, right on. Thank you.
Well, it's you get to my site /archives/ then you are also there.
Yeah.
Maybe let's continue.
Yeah, please.
With the solutions.
Yes.
So we were just talking about these goals. So we have the goals on the one hand, and then we have the economic goals, and maybe a lot of people will disagree about it. This system says we will do democratic companies. Well, other people say we don't want democratic companies. We want a capitalist market economy that we have now, land selling, whatever. But we want a government that is not so corrupt. So then you can, for instance, take this whole system and you pop out the government system, and you say, oh, this is a nice idea here, that will work. Maybe that don't work, we don't do that. So you can, it's not necessarily that it's one package and everything has to be done, but you can pick and choose and maybe improve the system. For instance, remove the USA empire, reduce it, change it into 10 or 15 nations, or maybe even every state again, a nation, can do that. And then the government is much closer to the people. That's one of the things here. Okay, so that's the goals. And then we have the methods, and there are 9 of them, I said. And I list them. For instance, first method is debating. So we do that now because we see does this work. Maybe convince people. The second method is buying fair trade, stimulating righteous businesses. Sorry. Then the next method is we organize investment funds which invest in the business on the contract that if the owner leaves and it becomes a little bit bigger business, more than 10 persons, or maybe you can now make another contract, that the business becomes owned by the employees, and then the previous owner will get a share of the future profits and compensated, etc., but it then to the employees. And then more political, it gets more serious all the time. Then we organize political parties, but not one that's the Bolshevik, one big mass party, and then a few people at the top. So we don't do that, but organize maybe 10 political parties for every 10 million people or every nation. And every political party was then to internally organize themselves on the basis of the proposed constitution, which has a lot of laws to make the management of the group, this case a political party, not they have to do what the members say. So, and that's the whole system. Should talk about it too. And then we have the next method is revolution. So we set up a new government. And it does not necessarily mean that we go into the capital, we shoot everyone, we put a new flag on the house and we say, this is it. And then maybe we do it again in the parliament. But this is we group in the street. Or if you know people who want to do this, organize with them. Every group must be at least 50 persons. They elect one so-called housekeeper. I call it housekeeper, why not? And they organize a vote in the group for who they want to elect as a delegate. But it doesn't have to be necessarily someone they know could be. It's up to them. And these delegates, they join into councils, also of 50 persons. And to make larger councils, these delegates regroup and create a second level delegate, but that has to be one of them. So it is always someone already elected by a voting group, and these form all the other bigger councils.
I'm sorry, hold on one second. Let me just say something.
Sure.
We're going off of live feed, but we're going to be in the archive here, so we're still recording the show for the archive. So just don't let that bother you. Please continue. Don't worry. We're just not live anymore, but we're recording, and the balance of the show can be listened in the archive. Thank you.
Oh, that's great. So we are recording.
Yes, don't worry about that, for sure. Guaranteed.
Great. It's a little bit. Because we do so much effort there, you know. So we get these, and the idea is you have a voter group, you can elect a delegate, you know the delegate. You can push the delegate to do things, you can always replace them also any moment. And that delegate, you can elect another delegate. And there is some social connection there, you know. There's 2 steps. One person tells one person something, and that person tells another something. So that's the second level delegate, and that's also the end. So you create from this basic system all the other representative government, including the national council. So and then we set this up, And maybe there was only 3% of the people, or maybe there's only 10,000 people, or even less, who do this. Then we say, well, we are with much less than the normal parliamentary system, or in tyranny, whatever. Well, that's maybe not a problem, but in the West it's representative. So many have voted for parliament or Congress, whatever. So many are in our system. If we are less, then we play ball and we say we are just an advice system. We don't try to usurp anything. But if we are getting over the line, if we are getting the trust of the people, then of course we would be the sovereign government. Then it's getting more serious. Okay, and then we have the next method, O5, and that's one that I find particularly relevant. This we organize people's armies with an internal democracy, and they have as a goal to protect. Hello, you are there, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay. The free speech and the free assembly.
Do you think, if I could just interrupt, in Holland, is there a very much a sense of free speech there, or is there like a jackbooters running around knocking people on the head if they voice their opinion, make it basically dissuade people from wanting to demonstrate or put their contrarian views in the press or in that type of thing?
I'm sure there are some people who think that is the case, but I think it is very free in Holland.
Okay.
Because I have this entire site up, and it's not one problem ever. You can always demonstrate. Doesn't mean that the media is telling the truth, but well, I personally don't have any complaints about that.
Okay, thank you.
So, but it's maybe different or become different in the USA.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, so I heard.
Well, so I mean, the point is that stuff that you're talking about here, outlining, it's very much going to go up against the status quo.
Absolutely, yes. This is a either-or situation.
And so the dissemination of these, this your manifesto, so to speak, would be greeted by the status quo with very, not the most heartfelt embrace. So, what you said about getting it out there as widely as possible, because it will be censored at some point, is important to point out, and that's why I definitely want to get it up on the website so people can begin downloading it there and disseminating it, because gonob.com is very much more of a global website. It's not like in the Central Texas Command Center for a bunch of, whack jobs or something like that in America. Ours is a very much a global outreach, and you can see that when you go to the website and you look on our map. We don't hide anything. It's all up there on the website. You can see that people from all over the world, especially, I'd say half of our visitors are from Europe. And we have, maybe about 10% coming out of Southeast Asia, the Orientals or something. So we're not reliant upon a domestic audience. We're very much a global website, and it's in our name. And so, just want to say that as, please continue.
Well, that's quite important, actually, for this whole system, because if we do this in Holland, then we are going to, I think we're going to be attacked. And Yugoslavia was attacked. All kinds of nations who don't play ball with the global bosses of capital, they're going to get it. So one of the very important things here is to get all these nations to experience the same kind of pressure under this system. So if we have have 2 million people who want to do this in Holland, but there is nobody in South America or other continents, then we may actually have to stop ourselves and say we must first push it there, so that and in the rest of the world, so that no large bloc coalition, Cold War kind of situation can emerge. And we do need, I think at least, to get military balance of power in the world on this system. And if very threatening nations such as the USA experience enough pressure from this system internally, then we are, of course, other nations are, of course, much more safe, because if they then do this system, the oppression forces in the USA don't have the time and the resources to fight their own insurrection and revolution business and also attack us.
Yeah, man, you got it all thought out, man. Yeah, those are all the particular details. Oh, really good, really good.
Thanks. Then, yeah.
Well, no, you have a very involved. You've thought this out, this plan of action out well, and so this is just trying to give the listener food for thought to want to make a more thorough, exhaustive investigation of what you're talking about here. And believe it, listeners, I've taken a look at this. This is really, it's pretty amazing. I have to just say, your work here, and it's what we need. This is the sort of what I've been talking about. Basically, in my opinion, we're caught in this dynamic of this evil, corrupt people who were able to get the money together and reinforce and find compatriots who are also evilly minded, and basically they're ruling the world now. I mean, so it just goes to show you that, well, geez, if evil is going to rule the world, then we should all be evil. But what we have now is like a group of evil elite and a bunch of dumbed down, fair-minded, good sheep.
Right. They don't. They are not evil.
Right.
I mean, if they go into a shop, they say they're going to a restaurant, and they see the waitress. They say, hi, hello, how are you doing? I mean, they are not going to bring out a sword and put it in your arm and say, I got you first. I mean, they're not evil.
Right.
So,
and then, like with the Rothschilds, for an example, what I'm talking about here is the Rothschilds went ahead and found in Rockefeller before, over 100 years ago, a person he liked, a person that was willing to sell his own people out, his own nationality out, and willing to, do the cutthroat type business thing, including all sorts of criminality to get his way. Okay, but if we all thought in those terms, we would have absolute chaos, and the place would be no place to live. So, but they exploit that. They exploit that. Hey, thankfully, all the sheeple aren't evil, because then we'd have more competition going on here for this. It would be just chaos. So we have relative calm, but we're not good, actually. We're deviant. We're devious. It's hiding everything. It's in the shadows, this type of thing, just like total nightmare, basically. Fear. This is where they're riding the wave up.
They have a little bit of a problem, because I think you make a good point that they want people to be productive and obedient and whatever, but they can't have people who are too good or too active, because then we go after them. So.
And because their schemes are so complicated and opaque, really an intelligent, or quote, intelligentsia, are very much threatening to them. So that's the reason for the dumbing down. Okay, that's the reason for focusing your attention that you have when you're not debt slaving to the TV or something like that, with mindless bread and circuses type fare. And so, meanwhile, they exploit. And here's the problem. They have got such utter contempt for the sheeple that the next step with them is, well, we got these sheep all, let's share them. Let's send them to the slaughter. That's how this thing goes. That's why you have to step in at some point with a plan like you're talking about, because on this slippery slope, it's going to be doom. So this is where the global outreach has got to recognize how this is coming down in your own locale, and begin to think about projecting what this could be 20 years down the line at this pace, and if you think that's going to be good or bad. Regrettably, this power structure is a malevolent, force, not benevolent, and that's important to recognize.
Well, I think they can't be benevolent because it is up to the people to run their own lives, to be real people who make decisions. And if we have some magical monarch who is perfectly capable of making every decision perfectly right, then what's left for the people? What's left? So I think it's a good thing that they are bad, because then the people are challenged to be the ones who make their own decision, to make democracy happen, to be real beings instead of just appendages of some decision maker, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean that's what we kind of are, is just basically you elect them once and then they get to do basically whatever they want to after that, and so this democracy that they're shoving down everybody's throat at the point of a gun really is not a foolproof scheme. And what your writings have done, correct, your work, is a more refined getting back to basics, what I would call, of the founding fathers of America, who came up with this whole thing that was very much contrary to the English way. And so much so that the English finally adopted their own little kind of parliament thing and their own sort of democracy, corrupted and false as it is. It's reasonable. It's reasonable, and still, when you have these royal families, though, and you have one there in Holland, these royal families want to still have it their way again. It's all their whole system with the Hanoverian.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, I mean they're hoping for. That's what they're thinking. Their dream is another day where they're all back in control again, and the filthy democracy movement is finally crushed.
I see it basically a long, multi-century war between tyranny and democracy, and the people in England fought for their democracy. I mean, you say they co-opted it. I'm sure many ruling class people have done that, and it is corrupted. But there are also many English who petitioned endlessly, and the suffragettes, of course, they fought for it. The French tried to make democracy happen. So there's also a lot of pressure from the people to make democracy happen. And then you have the ruling classes who want to make tyranny happen. And I think first we had tyranny in the feudal times and in the early 1600s. And then we now have a sort of mix between tyranny to some degree and democracy to some degree, with the capital is now degenerated all the way into bad hands, and the company ownership also, and the government is now teetering back a little bit, or maybe it's always a little bit in between. So we are halfway through this war for democracy, and I hope if we do my system and it works a lot better, a lot stronger democracy. The voting groups are very small. You get a lot of delegates. You get these delegates were part-time in these councils, so they are also farmers and delegate member, housewives and delegate member. So it merges. The government and the people merge. And I hope that is then the second part of this war, pulling this war to us, and that we have democracy, and that we then would defeat these money powers, which is also a little bit of a battle in itself, because we would have to get and destroy their wealth. So we literally have to go out. Where are the Rockefellers hiding their stuff? Where are the Rothschilds? Where's loot? So and make sure that they can't get back to it, because if we can indict them and we can convict them, I mean, we put the House of Rothschild and whatever lackeys they have you put them in jail, then maybe they have a cave in the cave, whatever, deep on the sea, I don't know. Maybe have a lot of gold stashed somewhere, who knows. Then they can't get to it.